In the first video of this series, we showed a real project from our AWS Bootcamp. In the second, a full hands-on project from our Azure Bootcamp. And today, it's time for Google Cloud. In this episode, you'll see a complete project where we deploy a real application, KidsFlix, across two different regions, Finland and the USA, using Cloud Run, Cloud Build, Artifact Registry, and finishing with a global HTTP load balancer that automatically routes users to the nearest region. This is exactly how global companies deliver low latency, high availability applications in production. And of course, this is just one of 40 plus real hands-on projects inside our bootcamps for AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud, DevOps, and AI. And remember, on November 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I will reveal the final opportunity in history to get lifetime access to all these programs. Now let's jump into the full Google Cloud project.
Hey Bootcamper, welcome back. So let's move forward now with the implementation of this hands-on project. And then just one quick information for you. We're going to break this project in two different parts. The first one, we're just going to focus on preparing the application to run on Cloud Run. We're going to build the container, just upload the image to a container registry and then do the deployment of the application inside of the Cloud Run. And then once we have the application, of both instances up and running, both the instance of Finland and the instance of the USA up and running, then we're going to break this video, and then the next one, we're going to focus on all the load balancing preparation so that it can work all together, all right? Just keep that in mind. So the first thing that you need to actually do is just come in here on the navigation menu and then come on the API and services, and then just go to dashboard, and then you should make sure that the Cloud Run API is actually enabled, right? So you just click in the enable API and services, and then you search for Cloud Run API. And then what you need to do is, in case it is still not enabled, just click in there. In case it is still not enabled, like in my case, inside of this project, this API is not enabled yet. So just going to click in enable. And you can do the same thing as well on your end. Just make sure that the Cloud Run API is enabled on your project as well. All right. Once it gets enabled, you're going to see something like this, which means that basically the API is enabled. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move forward, and we're going to prepare the application files to create a container. And then once the container is created, we're going to push that container to Cloud Registry here in Google Cloud Platform. And then once it's there, we're going to use that container image to deploy our application on Cloud Run. All right. So for doing that, we're going to use a Cloud Shell. So just go there now and open the Cloud Shell. And then once the Cloud Shell is open, what you're going to do is we're going to download the app files using those two zip files. I'm going to use the documentation as a resource now. I would recommend you to open a new tab and then just follow along with the PDF so that you can have a better experience. All right, so I'm right here on the Cloud Shell. So now what you're going to do is I'm going to download the file, the zip file. It has the application of the USA Docker image, right, that we're going to create. And then essentially those two files are actually the same, right? The only difference is you're going to see that on the footer, it actually has a USA flag on the zip file that is related to the USA application. And then on the Finland zip file, you're going to see that there's actually a flag of Finland on the footer so that you can differentiate when the application is actually behind the load balancer, so that you can know which one it is accessed at a given time, right? You're going to see that when we go to the load balancing implementation, all right? So let's go down and download the Finland file. So there you go. If you clear the screen and run a ls, now you should see two zip files, right? One that has a Finland application files, another one USA application file. So let's go there and unzip those files, right? Because we need to have them ready so that we can basically go inside of those two folders. I'm just unzipping both of them, just clear the screen. And then there you go. If you run an ls now, you should see two folders. So what we're going to do is we're going to go first inside of the Finland folder, which has the application files for the Finland. And then we're going to basically come in here, and then I'm going to just go inside of that folder. So let me just clear the screen to make our lives easier. And there you go. So let me just go inside of Bootcamp GCP-Finland. And then as you can see, I have the application files in here, the Docker file, the application file, everything is in here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run the cloud build so that we can create a new container for this application file. So what you're going to do is you're going to run the gcloud builds submit, and then this is actually going to be, the tagging here is actually going to be the destination of our image, which is going to be uploaded to the Google Cloud Registry. As you can see, just go ahead and run that, and it's going to ask you to authorize, just authorize, and then it's going to start building the application image. And then it's going to ask you if you want to enable the API. Just say yes, just enable the API. It might take a few minutes, and then while it is doing it, so basically what you need to do is just need to wait and then open a new tab. Just open a new tab so that we can get ready for the next execution as well. You should use the two tabs so that we can save time. So let's come back in here and see if the image is getting created. Yeah, there you go. Now the image is getting created. And then once it finishes, basically you're going to see that we're going to have an image available right there in a cloud registry, in the Docker Cloud Registry here on the Google Cloud Platform, so that you can use that to deploy our application, right? So basically it is preparing the image at this time, and then it should be ready in a minute so that we can move forward, right? So all these warnings that you're seeing, you can basically ignore them because it's just related to the some library version. Don't need to worry about that now. So just ignore them for now. All right. Cool. So as you can see, the image has already been created and then uploaded to the cloud registry. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to go there and deploy the application on Cloud Run. So for doing that, just go there and copy the gcloud run deploy, and then let me just clear the screen, Control L, and then just give the command. So gcloud run deploy using the image that we just uploaded, and then the application should run on port 5000. Platform manage, just hit enter. It's going to ask you for a few inputs. The first one is the service name. The service name will be actually the same, app kids Flix Finland. Just hit enter, and then here it's going to ask you in which region you would like to deploy the Cloud Run instance, right? We're just going to mention the region is going to be this one here, Europe North 1. So please notice that this number might change from times to times, because once Google Cloud adds new regions, this number might change, but you need to go and deploy that on the number which is related to Europe North 1. So in our case, it is 13. Just type 13. And then it's going to ask you if you want to allow unauthenticated invocation. Just say yes, because we want them to be available in your internet. And then just say yes, and then it's going to start provisioning the Cloud Run, our application in a Cloud Run. That's exactly what we did, if you remember, on module where we discussed on Cloud Run, but at that time we did that in the console. Right now we are doing in a command line, right? So that's how you can exercise and explore many different options of doing the same thing. All right, so now that it is going to run, so this one here should take a few minutes, and let's move back to the tab that we just opened. Now, what we're going to do is, while that gcloud run deploy is still running, what we're going to move forward to the prep steps for the USA application files, right? So we're going to do essentially the same thing that we just did for the Finland application files. Just go there and copy the folder names that we can go inside of the folder, and then here inside of the folder you see the Docker file. Then now we're going to run the gcloud builds so that it can create a new image and upload to the cloud registry. Just run that. It should take a few minutes, and then once it's ready, we're going basically to go there and start the deployment of the application container on Cloud Run, running a similar command that we run to deploy on Finland region, right? So I'm gonna pause this video. I'll be back as soon as it gets ready. Here you go. As you can see, the image got created. Now you're going to go ahead and deploy the application on Cloud Run, running a similar command that we just did for the Finland. Just copy that. Let me clear the screen first. And then let's pass that. So it's going to be gcloud run deploy, and the image, the pathing here is the image that was just uploaded to Google Cloud Registry, and then the port will be the same. Just run that. It's going to ask you for the service name. Just hit enter, and then now here on the region, you're going to pick the number which is respective to the US Central 1, which is going to be 22. And then just allow the unauthenticated invocation, just type Y, and then it's gonna create our deployment on Cloud Run, right? So let's see if the deployment on the app on Finland is working fine. Just click on the first tab. Yeah, and there you go. As you can see, the deployment of the application that's gonna run on Finland region is up and running. So it's actually is giving you the service URL. You can just click in here, and then if everything went fine, you're going to see that the application will come up. So this is the KidsFlix application. It's actually running right now on Cloud Run in the Finland region, right? So it is a dynamic application, of course. And then here on the footer, as I mentioned, you see that there is a Finland flag in here. So basically you see that this application is actually running on Finland because there is a flag in here, and this is the application that actually is coming from the Finland code base, right? This is going to be useful when we put both applications instances on Cloud Run behind the load balancer. You're going to see that the flag will help us to understand which is the instance that the load balancer is directing the traffic at a given time, right? So just keep that in mind. We're going to see that once we deploy the load balancer. All right, coming back in here, let's see if the deploy has finished on the USA. Yeah, looks like it also got finished. And then let's click on that and see if it's working fine as well. Yeah, there you go, it's working fine. This is the KidsFlix running in the USA region. And then here on the footer again, you see that there is a USA flag, which basically was used to differentiate the app which running on a Finland region and the app running on the US region. So only the flag is going to help us to differentiate when we're running the load balancing so that we can see if it's working fine or not. All right. So that's what it is. And then the application is provisioned successfully now on both sides. I'm going to pause this video and we are going to continue with the load balancing steps on the next video. All right, see you there. Bye-bye.
Hey, quick break before we continue. Have you signed up for the Lifetime Access Black Friday live event on November 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time? This will be the last time ever that we'll offer lifetime access to all boot camps, cloud, DevOps, artificial intelligence, and bonuses revealed only live. You'll get 40+ real-world projects based on enterprise scenarios. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to secure your spot. After this, there will never be another chance like it. All right? Now let's get back to the video.
Hey Bootcamper, welcome back. So now let's have a look on what we did so far. If we come in here on the Cloud Run, Let's search for the Cloud Run service. You can just come in here on the search bar, and then there go Cloud Run. You're going to see that we have actually two instances of Cloud Run already running, right? So you have your app KidsFlix Finland, and then the same thing on the USA, right? This one is actually deployed on the European region, and then this one is actually here in the US, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and then we're going to execute the steps to create the load balancer and to do all the preparation that needs to be done for creating the load balancing, right? If you would remember, on the cloud load balancing module here, on this hands-on on this module, we basically went there and created the load balancer using the console and all. In that case, during this project, we're going to do everything through the gcloud, so that you can see that you can basically do the same thing using the command line as well. All right, so for that, open the Cloud Shell. Okay, so once the Cloud Shell opens, what we're going to do is we're going to create the network endpoint groups, right? But here's one attention point that you can be aware of, right? So when you copy a few of the bigger commands from the PDF, you could have issues because when you copy the PDF, usually depending on the operating system, it can come with a few hidden characters that could cause issues when you're running or copying pasting that on the Cloud Shell, right? So what I would recommend you is you can go there on the PDF and copy that actually to a notepad, and then remove the bash slashes and then go from there. Or you can also come down here on this video. I will actually leave the commands of the step 1, 3, 4, and 7, which are the steps with bigger commands down here on a txt file for you as well, in case you want that, so that you can just go there and copy from the txt file instead of the PDF to avoid issues. All right, just keep that in mind. That's just for your better experience. All right. And the first thing that we're going to do is going to create the first network endpoint group in here, and then just copy that, and gcloud compute network endpoint groups, create the name of the network endpoint group, and then here's the region and the network endpoint type, which is serverless, because we're running it from Cloud Run. And then the Cloud Run service name is this one in here. So just run that. It's going to create your network endpoint groups. And then we're going to do the same thing for the service running on the USA. Just copy that and run it. And then if you want to see where the network endpoint groups are located, you can just come in here in the navigation menu, just go to Compute Engine, and then if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see the network endpoint groups in here. Just copy and actually click in that, and then there you go. Here are the endpoints that got created. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to go there and create a new backend service. Just copy that from the documentation. Oops, let me close that. Let me just clear this one a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Let's just create our backend service. Create KidsFlix backend global, and then -- global means that this backend will actually be spread across multiple different regions, which is our case. Just go there and create. Now on the step 3, we are going to actually add the backend to this global backend service that we just created, right? For doing that, just go there and copy the gcloud command as well. So this gcloud command, backend service, add backend. So just going to add to this global backend that you just created the network endpoint groups that were created, for each region, right? I'm going to do first for the Finland region, and then next to the region in the USA. Just copy that and then it's going to run. It's going to add the backend to the global backend that was just created. It's running, and then the gcloud is actually doing it right now. There you go. And then now let's do the same thing for the backend service in the USA region. And then once it finishes, basically what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the step number 5, and then we're going to basically create a new URL maps. And then this is actually a prerequisite so that the multi-regional load balancing can work. But usually you create the URL maps when you also have the need of do the load balancing routing based on a URL, for example, right? So let's say that you have a endpoint with the URL, yourdomain.com/video, and then once the user hits /video, actually you want to route them to a particular backend which is going to treat the video transformation, for example, right? And then you could use the URL maps to help you doing that. But in our case, we're going to create, because it is a prerequisite, we are not going to give any specific URL mapping. So it's going to create as default. So basically, let me just clear this one. And then for creating the URL map, we just need to run the gcloud URL map and create that, give a name, and then the full service is going to be actually get the backend global that we just created. Just hit enter. And then now what you're going to do is we're going to move forward to step number 5. And now we're going to create a target HTTPS proxy to redirect the requisitions to the URL map. Just go there and copy that command and just run it. It's going to create, and then now we're going to reserve a new IP address for the external load balancer using the gcloud compute address create, and then give the name of the IP. Just run that. And then we're going to get the IP address that was actually reserved so that we can test that later on once it gets provisioned, right? So for getting the IP that was just created, let's just clear and then run the gcloud compute address describe and the name of the IP, and then just run that. It's going to give you the IP. There you go. This is the reserved IP that we just created for our load balancer. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to create the global forwarding rule to redirect the incoming requisitions to the proxy, which is the front end. So basically, this is a step number 7. Just go there and then copy that command, just run it. So gcloud compute forwarding rules create Netflix, actually KidsFlix front end global, and then address is going to basically use the static or reserved IP address that we created. It's going to pass the target HTTP proxy, give it the name. It's going to mention global, and then give to listen on port 80. Just hit enter, and then it's going to basically create that rule. And then once it gets created, so what's going to happen is all the process will actually get started, right? So if we close this one here, but actually copy this IP, right? Copy your IP to your notepad, for example, and then if we close this one here for now, and then just go there on the network services, and then let's see how the things are actually working in there. So network services, load balancing. So you're going to see that the load balancing is actually already there, provision, and then as we did on the cloud load balancing hands-on, it's actually gonna take a few minutes until it gets ready, right? And until it gets fully provisioned. So if you open a new tab now and try to use the IP of the load balancer, you're going to see that you're going to get an error. And that basically means that the load balancer, it is actually not fully provisioned yet, right? So just wait for between 5 to 10 minutes I'm gonna pause this video and I'll be back as soon as it gets ready. And there you go. As you can see, I'm already accessing the application using the load balancer IP, right? So this is a 34.120.183.57, and then if we coming back in here on the console, yeah, it is matching. So this is the one. And then now, if you notice in here, given that I am in the US right now, if we scroll down, you see that the load balancer actually routed my connection or my request to the US region, right? And even if I refresh that many times, you see that will not change because the load balancing now, it is not behaving like, sending your requests in a round robin fashion, right? But now it's actually going to redirect your request to the region which is closest to you, right? Given that I am in the US right now, it's, redirecting the requests to the region here in the US. But now let's say that we wanted to test and see if someone connected from Europe would really be connected to the application instance running in Europe, all right, in Finland. So for doing that, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead, and if you don't have the Chrome browser installed on your laptop or on your desktop, I would encourage you to go ahead and install it. And then once you install the Chrome, I wanted to ask you to install this Chrome extension, which is free, right? You have the link on the documentation as well on the PDF, but you can just Google for free VPN for Chrome, right? Like I'm doing here, and then Chrome will actually allow you to install a free VPN client on your Chrome as a plugin so that you can pick AIP from a different country, right? Once you install that, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to have a button in here saying install the extension. Given that I already have it in here, it's not going to show you that, but you can just go and install it yourself. And then once you do it, the extension will appear here on this menu. As you can see, just click on extensions, and then you're going to see that the free VPN is right here. And then once you click in here, you see that you can enable a VPN, and then once you enable the VPN, you're going to have a IP from the country that you actually is using that VPN, right? So in our case, we wanted to validate if someone connected from Europe would actually be routed to the Cloud Run instance running on Europe through the load balancer, right? So what we're going to do in here is we're going to do, to pick one country which is located in the Europe. We have, either France or Netherlands in here. Basically, I'll leave the Netherlands selected for now. And then what you can do is just go ahead and switch on the VPN. And then once you switch on the VPN, just open Google and type "where am I?" And then Google is going to show that you're on the Netherlands right now. If I disable the VPN, right, and then base it on my IP, for example, let me disable that and then refresh again. So Google will say that I am located in the US, right? As you can see, I'm in Florida right now. So if we enable that again, so let's enable the VPN again, and then what's going to happen is we're going to get a IP from a European country. Let's run that again. And then now, given that I have a European IP, what's going to happen is once we go there and try to access the load balance IP, let's see what's going to happen, right? So let me come back in here in the Google Cloud Console. Let's pick the IP of the load balancer, and then let's come back to the Chrome, open a new tab, and then just hit enter. Let's see now if we scroll down to which region we are connected. So, and there you go. As you can see, if we scroll down, you see that I am connected now through the load balancer in the Cloud Run instance, which is running on the Finland region right now, because given that I am connected to a VPN and with a European IP, I can basically now Google Cloud Platform, actually the load balance is redirecting my connection to Finland because it thinks that I am on Europe right now, right? So if I refresh that, it is not gonna, redirect to the US because Finland is the closest location for my connection, right? So congratulations for implementing this project. And then for the evidence, what I wanted to ask you to do is just go ahead and then, grab the evidences of your implementation, just showing the IP of your instance or your load balancer, and then also show that IP is also matching with the IP that you have in here on your load balancer, right? Like you're seeing right here on this screen. And then once you do it, just take a screenshot showing that you actually were able to connect from a Finland region using the load balancing IP, and then just go there, disconnect your VPN, and then if you're based in a different country, can just come in here and pick the USA location, for example, like Virginia, connect in a USA VPN, and then if you refresh it, you're going to see that now you're connected to a USA region. So now just take a screenshot of that as well, so that we can make sure that you were able to implement that and make sure that the geographical load balancing is happening on your implementation as well. All right. So congratulations once again. Hope you have enjoyed this project, and I'll see you in the next module. Bye-bye.
And this was just one of over 40 hands-on projects our students build inside the Cloud Bootcamp. Here you truly learn by doing, solving real-world enterprise challenges, and building a portfolio that actually sets you apart in the tech industry. On November 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, you'll have the chance to get lifetime access to all our bootcamps, including cloud, DevOps, artificial intelligence, and special bonuses revealed only live. If you haven't signed up yet, click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen to secure your spot now. This is the last time ever we will offer lifetime access to our bootcamps. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next projects we'll be showing here. And of course, I'll see you live on November 24th.